Hi everyone, I'm Laura Gale Luck. On this edition of Local Loop, we're going to tell you about some important programs and ways that you can help protect a vulnerable population of our community, senior citizens. We have three guests here with us today. Seated next to me is Councilmember James Clendenin.
There we go.
We have Lieutenant Lori Marceau.
Hello.
And Deputy Brandon DeBose. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, first let's talk a little bit about how many seniors we have in our community. I understand that number is increasing.
It is. Of course, with the baby boomer population aging, the number of seniors grew tremendously in 2011 over the last census in 2010. In 2000. We had a roughly 52,000 seniors in our community in 2000, and in 2011 that grew by 10,000. And so in 10 years, that's quite a big jump. That's 1,000 a year that are considered senior citizens.
It really is, and it seems that as people age, they become more vulnerable to different things, whether it's being able to take care of themselves or to scams. Is that things that you guys have experienced in your law enforcement careers?
I know I have. It seems as though as people age, and especially this generation, they grew up in a time where someone's handshake was their word, and we're finding that those who would prey on seniors are taking their trust and actually using it against them, a lot of times in con games.
Would you say that you get many calls from seniors?
Quite a few. The majority of the senior briefings that I will go out and do, say at nursing homes or church groups, the majority of the conversation that we'll sit and have is how many times they've been scammed over the past couple of years. You know, and they'll sit there and have a debate about who's had the better scam and who's had the bigger scam. And, you know, several people are just coming up with these scams that go after these senior citizens because they're nice. They grew up in that era where you waved at everyone, you left your door unlocked. You know, if you called for your grandma and needed the shirt, she'd give you the shirt. And that's what these people are preying on, is that kindness that they have.
Well, it's good to hear that they can laugh about it, but it really is no laughing matter.
Right.
It's something that we're all taking very seriously, and that's why we're here.
Well, you know, senior safety is a huge concern for the City Council, and especially me. I know the statistic says in 2011 there were over 4,300 crimes against seniors in our community. That ranges from ages 60 and over. And those crimes were anywhere from murder all the way to the scams that we've been talking about. And it's just unfortunate. We have a very trusting population of people that a handshake was a bond, and times have evolved so much and so fast, and so giving this some sort of awareness is I think what we'd like to do.
And with technology too, I'm sure that helps, you know, make them more vulnerable.
Well, and a lot of times they're not as familiar with the technology. And, you know, every once in a while we'll hear about a scam, you know, where somebody calls a senior on the phone and claims to be their grandson, and they're in jail and they need money to be sent to them, and the senior doesn't realize that they're being set up. So with the advances in technology, and a lot of times our senior population doesn't move along with that, and that can be used against them as well.
Let's talk about some of the programs that are out there to help the seniors. Tell me about some of those.
Well, the Sheriff's Department has a really great program. I'll let Brandon tell you a little bit about it.
We run the Sheriff's Seniors Program, which stands for the Sheriff's Elderly Disabled Notification Intensive Outreach Response System.
That was a mouthful.
Very long and drawn out acronym there, but it's a wonderful program. It is free to the citizens of Sedgwick County, and it doesn't only work for them here. The wonderful thing about this program is they get an identification card with their information that we have kept here, and say they're going to visit family in Dallas, Texas, and they get in an accident or something of that nature. First thing law enforcement always asks for is your ID. I give them this card to put behind their ID, and so when they give that to us, we also find out that they are a sheriff senior member. They can call up here to Sedgwick County and they can get all the medical information that we have on file here sent down there to them as well to help them with the response. But what it does is it helps us get to the seniors and respond to them quicker. It makes our time at their residence much easier on them as well, because instead of us showing up to your house after you've been injured and you have to try to remember what medication you're on, what medical history you may have had, we already know that prior to even going to your residence. And it's brought through law enforcement, whether it be police or county, it's gone through EMS, and it's gone through fire. So everyone knows while they're responding to a call, the dispatch sends out the alert code on the computer saying this is a seniors member. They call our record section and get the information that they need before they arrive.
What kind of feedback do you get from other deputies who have, encountered seniors who are part of this program? How helpful is it?
The ones who have used it, and fortunately for us, we haven't had to use it that much, but the times that we have had to use it has worked out great. Our most recent one, before the senior actually got to the hospital, her next of kin was there along with her medical power of attorney, and they beat her to the hospital. So, that's just a fantastic feat right there of getting that done before they even show up, just for the medical attention that they need.
A nice component about the seniors program is that once a senior is enrolled in this program, the Sheriff's Department provides them with a sticker that those go on the door.
Correct. Upper left-hand corner.
So that if an officer or EMS technician gets there and sees that sticker and they recognize that the person at that house is registered in the senior program, then they know that if they need more information or how to get a hold of next of kin, that they can call Sheriff's Records and get that information 24 hours a day.
I think that's amazing information. I wish I would have had, just a couple years ago. In my first campaign for city council, I was going door to door. I met a disabled veteran who actually yelled for me to come in. A big no-no to go into somebody's house, but something just didn't seem right. And I walked into his house. His house was 98 degrees inside. It was a 100-plus degree day. He's in a wheelchair, does not have any legs, was wounded from the Vietnam War, and he didn't have the resources he needed to pay his bills or just to get the help that he needed. And he was not looking well when we walked in. So we were able to get him help, but to be able to give him this information would be great. And so I'm glad that this information is readily available now.
And it sounds like this really is a problem you guys probably encounter over and over again.
Well, and it helps us a lot of times when we're trying to find out, if we get to a house and nobody answers the door and maybe neighbors have been concerned, we just don't want to force entry if we have a way that we can get in a little bit easier. And so by utilizing this information that the Sheriff's Department has collected, it could help us get somebody there who has a key or knows the situation or knows where the homeowner is or knows that everything's okay. And so that's extremely helpful to law enforcement.
So how do you sign up, and what are the steps it takes to participate?
There's several different ways. One way, I do several briefings at, like I said, local churches, or I do them at nursing homes. All I have to do is call our number, which is 660-3920, and ask any of the deputies in the community liaison unit can set up a seniors briefing, or we'll come out and talk to you. It doesn't matter if it's 3 people or 30 people. We love coming out and talking and going through the program. You can also do it online. You can go to sedgwickcounty.org. and there'll be a link on the right hand side of the screen that says Senior Citizens. You can go on that link and you can do it completely online, fill it out, don't even have to pay for the stamp to mail it in. It prints off right there with us and we're able to process the application. And then once that's done, we process it, it comes through me, I see it, I put it in the computer, take it to dispatch, put it in the dispatch system, and then it gets locked up. No one looks at the information. This information is completely confidential. It's not passed around to anybody. It is only brought up if for some reason we need to make entry into that residence or go see the person who lives there. And to get that information, we have to have the ID number. You can't just say, hey, I need to go talk to Mrs. Joe, and we're able to say, sure, let me get you all the information you need. They have to have the proper identification to be able to pull that system up.
And this confidential information, is it ever used in investigations?
No, there's no criminal investigations ever used with this. This is strictly for the seniors program to help us aid them in what they may need.
How old does somebody have to be able to participate?
There's not an age limit. Our youngest member is a 4-year-old autistic child right now. So there is not an age limit. It can be anywhere from a newborn baby to a person who's the oldest one here in Wichita.
How many people would you say you have signed up?
Right now we have 483 active members in the program.
So there's definitely room for growth.
Right, absolutely.
Anything else you guys wanted to add, or maybe any misconceptions you want to clear up about the program?
Well, I would just say this. We're talking about safety isn't always about crime, here. And one program that I think is really important that the Wichita Fire Department has available for seniors is that they will, if called, they will inspect smoke detectors for free, and they will even install them at no charge. And so citizens that are interested in having that done, they should call the Wichita Fire Department at 268-4510, and they will be connected with the people that can do that. I know in my house, I probably don't check my smoke alarms as much as I should, and probably would be embarrassed to see if it even worked right now. But this is for everybody, especially seniors that don't have the means to do that themselves, especially with the smoke alarm possibly being high. So
I know I don't like to climb on top of chairs, so
No.
that would be, it is a great service.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I understand there's also the Triad organization. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, actually, Triad is a national organization, and the term Triad actually means three, in that it's made up of community members, law enforcement, and service providers. And all of these organizations that are a part of Triad have the interest of seniors in mind. We have members of the Triad Council that are in the banking industry, which pretty frequently they have been the first ones to report financial abuse of an elder. And we also have law enforcement and members of the Mental Health Association. Sedgwick County Area Department on Aging is a part of the council. And these are all organizations and people who have concerns about senior welfare in the community.
And I understand you guys use the term gatekeeper a lot. Talk about what that means.
Well, actually, the term gatekeeper could be anybody. It could be, it's anybody who recognizes and notices that a senior is having difficulty or could be in danger. It could be a mailman that notices that the mail is piling up at someone's home and they're concerned about someone's welfare. It's obviously law enforcement or firefighters or EMS because of our first responder responsibilities. But it could be anybody, and anybody who's concerned about someone in the community that might need some help.
Someone on the campaign trail.
Yeah, that was absolutely.
Council person.
I guess in that case I was
You
a
were a
gatekeeper,
gatekeeper.
and that actually happens a lot, believe it or not, for those of us that are out campaigning. So campaign season is starting. I guess one of the things I would say is those of us that are out campaigning and our campaign teams really should pay attention to those we come in contact with, because we go door to door and we contact a lot of people. So now I know a new term,
That's
gatekeeper.
right, that's right. And there's an awful lot of services out there that are available to people in the community, especially seniors or our more vulnerable populations, that they're just not aware of, or perhaps they don't want to take advantage of. Frequently I'll hear, well, I'm sure that there's somebody who needs these services more than I do. And if there's a need, I mean, that's why we have those services, is to help people. And we want people to stay in their homes because that's where they feel comfortable, and they should do that as long as possible. And so if we can point them in the direction of services that will help them and enable them to stay at home, that's what we want to try to do.
If you're a gatekeeper and you see something that doesn't look right to you, what should you do?
Well, if it's something that you think the person is in danger, then the first call to be made would be to 911 to get some immediate response. But if you think perhaps that they just need some services or need someone to check in on them or to make sure that they're doing okay, the United Way 211 number is the best number to call. But obviously, if it needs immediate response, 911 is the number to call.
So when you call the United Way at 211, is there anything in particular you need to tell the people?
Well, I would suggest is to tell them that you're making a gatekeeper referral. But if you can't remember that term, or you forget it when you call, just tell the person who answers the line what the situation is, that you're concerned about the welfare of this person and you really think that they need some help. But if you can remember to tell them it's a gatekeeper referral, then that will immediately go to the right place.
And then what should people be on the lookout for?
The top three things that I've come across I think people should be on the lookout for is, number one, financial issues. Are they able to maintain their finances? Are they starting to write checks and send them off to the fraudulent companies who are asking them for $50 to win $500,000? Those things are important. Also, excessive collecting, unable to take care of their home or animals, anything of that nature. And then finally, medication as well, making sure that they're able to maintain their prescriptions and keep up with their daily dosage that they have to have.
Okay. And I understand that Triad's having an event coming up.
Yes, Friday, June 29th, starting at 10:30, the Triad Council is sponsoring an Elder Abuse Awareness Day at Botanica. It's a free event. There'll be some dignitaries speaking, and there'll be lots of special activities being held at Botanica. There's a free lunch. There'll be a balloon launch. In addition to the dignitaries that will be speaking. The intent is to increase awareness in the community and to also encourage more people to act as gatekeepers and to be on the alert for those people in our community that might need some help.
So why is it so important for people to attend?
It gives people a chance to be involved, to get educated about what's going on in their community. When I was going door-to-door campaigning, this person lived just 2 blocks and around the corner from me. Didn't realize it. And I think that there are people in need everywhere, even our next-door neighbors. So this is a great way for people to become involved, become educated, and get in there and learn what they can do.
And really, by helping these people stay in their homes, it saves the community money as a whole, correct?
It does. It saves the community money, but it just gives us a nicer, safer community. The longer that we can keep seniors in our community healthy and thriving, the better. The wisdom that they can share with one another as you walk down the street and talk to your neighbors, and just so much that the senior population adds. And I think that getting to know the seniors around you and those people, that's very important. So
definitely important to look out for.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys would like to add?
Oh,
I can't think of anything.
I think we're good.
Well, thank you for being here. It's been great to hear all about these wonderful programs.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Lord Gail.
And as we leave you, we'll present you with the contact information and numbers that you can use to be gatekeepers and to attend the June 29th event. Thanks for watching.